Let's run down New Jersey. What do you think, Chitterelli or Mickey? Cheryl.
I mean, I'm in New Jersey. I've been here since yesterday. I give the edge to Cheryl, but the polling has been close, and I wouldn't be surprised to see Chitterelli pull it out.
Now, if that's the case, when do we expect to know? I don't know if Jersey's like California and it takes 8 weeks to get the final result, or if it's like Florida and we'll know by 10 p.m.
No, I think we'll know by 10 p.m. I mean, we don't normally have an issue of getting the results in New Jersey for these off-year elections. So I think we'll know in short order. Jersey's obviously, it was more competitive in 2024, it turned out, with movement toward the Republicans and Trump. He flipped 5 counties here compared to 2020. But look, you've got a Republican in the White House, a Republican-controlled Congress. People are still quite unhappy with the state of affairs nationally when you look at all of the polling. So I'll be watching the independent vote to tell us something about, what's coming up next year. But this one's a little bit tougher to call than Virginia.
All right, let's go first to New York City. Here's President Trump on 60 Minutes last night, cut number 3.
Well, I think I'm a much better looking person than him, right?
But what if Mondami becomes mayor?
It's going to be hard for me as the president to give a lot of money to New York because if you have a communist running New York, all you're doing is wasting the money you're sending there. So I don't know that he's won, and I'm not a fan of Cuomo one way or the other, but if it's going to be between a bad Democrat and a communist, I'm going to pick the bad Democrat all the time, to be honest with you.
So, David Drucker, are there enough Republicans who think like the president to put Cuomo over the top?
Yeah, if they all abandon Sliwa and combine with the vote for Cuomo, then maybe Cuomo gets over the top. Sliwa cannot get over the top. He doesn't have the right kind of profile as a Republican for New York City, which is still deeply blue.
I agree. And I'm begging people who are listening right now in New York on the answer. Please don't waste your vote tomorrow. Vote for Andrew Cuomo. You don't want to try life under an anti-Semitic communist, and that's what Zoran Mamdani is, in my opinion. Now, Virginia. What do you say, David?
Well, Spanberger's going to win unless, we all have our heads on Neptune or something, right? I mean, just the polling's been consistent. It's a pretty blue state these days. Even though it was a little closer in 2024 at the presidential level than 2020, but it's blue. Federal workers are not happy with the administration. And so she will win. I mean, the question is, can she win by enough to carry Jay Jones across the finish line in that attorney general's race that he really has no business being in after those text messages were scooped and reported by Audrey Fahlberg at National Review. But, we're in an age, Hugh, where both parties excuse their own side's scandals and nobody polices each other. But then sometimes these candidates stick around. Like, they stick around, people put on their jerseys, and it doesn't matter. So we will see. But I do not get the sense in any measure that this is like 4 years ago when you had an unpopular Democrat in the White House. You had a particular issue pushing suburban voters who have leaned Democratic into the Republican camp. Glenn Youngkin was a unique candidate, a very good candidate. Sears is a good public servant. She doesn't have the kind of candidate skill that Glenn Youngkin does. But again, you're asking me to give you my best analysis before the vote or as the votes coming in with early votes and vote by mail. I am, in no sense am I the authority on any of these things. I'm just telling you what I've seen.
Now, I've seen the polling as well, and they've had big misses before. There could be a big miss. This would be a big miss if Winsome Earl Sears, for whom I voted, actually comes out on top. It would be a bit. But I have to think there are not a few Democrats who are going in and voting for Jason Miyares, the Republican, because they don't want Jay Jones. That man's got a problem, and they don't want it. Mamdani is a socialist, he's a communist, he's an anti-Semite, all these different opinions I hold. But he didn't wish death on someone. Democrats really don't need Jay Jones, do they?
Well, they don't. That's where the independent vote is really crucial. Because independents, especially when the parties are so divided, can really sway races one way or the other. I mean, when you look at all of the midterm election victories for both parties over the past 20 years, it's always because the independents picked the winner. And when you look at 2022, Hugh, and I still remember that election night, when you and I were kind of dumbfounded that Republicans couldn't get that one net seat to win the Senate majority, it's because Democrats ended up winning independents by 2 points, despite Biden's horrible numbers, despite high inflation and rising crime. And so that's, why I'm putting so much onus on the independent vote.
For full shows, live and on demand, it's Salem News Channel.